the what the Lord has placed on my heart today is going off that message I spoke yesterday of how, in other words, you can't be in defense. We have to march out. In other words, we have to get grounded, get rooted. We have to be, in other words, this new message is in other words, we have to be the men and women that the Lord has called us to be, to march out. In other words, to start conquering, to start, you know, saving our family, saving our home, start, and then saving our land and saving our nation and keep going. That's what I'm saying. There is no small prayer. The Lord does huge things, huge. And that's what I was saying on the other message of how the enemy makes us believe that, oh, don't pray. In other words, we pray things like, help me just make my car note. Instead of saying, Lord, pay off the car. You see, that's what I mean. God can do huge things, huge. And we pray the smallest things and say, Lord, help me to understand who you are and what you can do. And like I said, it takes Bible, prayer, and obedience. These three things. So this is what I mean is when you can get and ask the Lord, oh Lord, show me. He will. He'll say, open my word. But you gotta do what he tells you to do. In other words, you're trying to go around it. But basically the message of this prayer, I mean this message is about, you're stronger than you think. You're more powerful than you think. And let me show you. See, because as I was the message, some of these the Lord brought to my mind of how, he has me speak on things. There's some things I don't even like to talk about no more. But when the Lord tells me bring them up, okay, I do. And so he's just using these analogies, and he's also using them as like he told me, if I can take this man who's been in all this trouble, has done all these things, and I can use him, he's letting you know he can use you too. But not only that, he's letting you know, don't ever think that, oh, since he's been to prison, he's tough and he can do things that we can't do, because he's been in situations that's put him at a very life and death situation. This is why God is able to use him and not me. No. Let me let you understand, is you're more powerful. If you ain't been to prison, if you ain't been caught up in all that foolishness I got in, you are more powerful because you're able to say no and walk away from that stuff. Okay, now, but if you've been to prison, if you've been in trouble, this message is still for you. Don't worry about it. The Lord can still use you too. But let me, this message is for everybody. But what I'm trying to say is, there's a lot of people who've thought that. I've talked to many people. Everywhere I go, I try to talk to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, well, you can talk the message or do." No, because I want you to understand, I was a coward, meaning I was very easily influenced. You see, this is why I wound up in getting so much trouble, because somebody would say, I bet you won't do it. And like a dummy, I go do it. See, they had me like a puppet on a string. You see, I was easily influenced. You see, and that's what I mean is this is how I know God can use you who's never been in trouble. You know why you ain't been? Because you had enough sense to say, hey, you know what? I better not do that, because that can lead me in a place that I don't want to be. I better not do that. So you had enough sense. This is how dumb we are, that how the enemy gets us fooled. So when I go do that stupid thing that I shouldn't have done, because since I was a kid, they tell me to do something, I do it, jump off this, break this, do that. And I'm thinking, oh, the other guy's scared. No, the other guy had sense. And the one who was puppet mastering me, he was the mastermind. Say, let me see what I can get this dummy to do. See? And boom, I would go do it. But the one who said, no, I ain't going to do it, I used to say, oh, man, they're just scared. No, I was the dumb one. They were the smart ones. You see? You actually had more will. The person who didn't go along and didn't do what the guy told us to do, they had more strength and not even realize. They had more willpower. They said, no, I ain't doing it. You see, so you got to understand, don't think just because I've been to the penitentiary and I've been in all these situations. You see, I had no business being in them situations. I wound up in them situations because I was too big of a coward to say, no, I ain't going to do it. I'm going to stand on my own. I ain't going to go with the crowd. See, I went with the crowd. You see? And where I'm getting this from is, for one, the Lord brought it to me, but for two, I saw it later on once I'm sitting in jail, and I would see it then, even before I got saved. I said, man, I listen to that dumb man. I'm sitting in here and there at home. You see? But let me show you, see, because when I became a youth pastor and I saw things in the youth, and this is what really moved me, is when I became a youth pastor, I saw some youth look at my testimony and see some of my pictures, and they like glorified it. Like, oh man, this guy's been to prison, you know. And when I saw that, but then I saw other youth who were actually for real walking with the Lord as a kid. And that right there moved me. I said, now that's powerful. Because as a kid, yeah, I wanted God, but I was too ashamed, or I was worried what the people would say, and and I wasn't tough enough to stand for what I really wanted. See, like I said, the Lord been dealing with me since I was a little kid. There was things I felt God touched me in my heart when I was a kid, and I wanted to serve Him. But like I said, I'm not sure if I brought it up but when I was a kid, I remember we went to a tent one night, and I was like 8 years old, and I heard the Lord call me. And I ran to the front. My parents couldn't find me, and they go, look, I was at the front, right? I asked the Lord in my heart, and my mom said, oh, he got saved. And I was there, and I heard him. I heard him call me to the front. But the minute I got back to school, and I was embarrassed, and that was it. I walked away. See, and that's what I mean is I didn't have enough strength. I wasn't courageous, and I wasn't, and I hid. And so, as I became, now let me get back to, I was a youth pastor, when I saw these kids, some of them would, get, because like, I'm going to be honest, when I was young and I would hear prison stories, it would catch my ear, like, tell me, I don't want to hear about it. So some of these kids, but then I got up and I preached and I let them know, I said, the kids who are serving, God now as a kid, I said, you're my hero. I said, you are strong. I said, I was weak. That's why I wound up in the pen. I was weak to stand up and say, nah, I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to go. See, I always thought, and here, you who think you're a rebel or going against, you're going with the crowd. You're going with the crowd. I used to think, I'll stand alone. The devil makes you think. No, you're going with the crowd. Everybody's disobedient. Everybody's rebellious. Everybody's doing that. And when I used to see some of these kids that were serious with the Lord, I said, now that is a rebel. I said, that one, they're not going with the grain. I said, they said, I'm going to serve God as a kid regardless. And that's what really, I told them kids, I said, some of y'all might be on me in this prison. I said, I'm in awe of you. I said, for you to be able to stand up and serve God as a kid, I said, now you are brave. I said, you know what? Forget what I did. I said, this right here, I said, because the schools laugh at these kids, but you're willing to go against the grain. I said, so tell a kid now, next time he wants to be a rebel or something, and say, I want to rebel, tell him, become a Christian then. Because everybody's against the Christian. Tell him, here, take a Bible to school. Carry it. Say, I'm going to serve the Lord. You're really going against the grain now, because I'll come to a testimony later on in this message. But you see, so when I saw them kids that wanted to serve God as a kid, I said, now that is a warrior. Forget I was an idiot. That's how I wound up where I wound up, is because I couldn't stand firm in what I really wanted. You see? So when I saw these kids doing that stuff, I said, these are because back when I was doing that dumb stuff, sometimes I would think, because I did have thoughts, man, you're dumb, dude. But there was times, yeah, I'm hard. I didn't, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. I said on another message of how you think you're not obeying the devil, but you are. But I thought, oh, I'm bad. Those dudes are dummies. They were just scared. No, but this other man's telling me when to come up out of them and cough and taking this and telling me when to go eat. See? But anyway, so that's what I mean is, and I would say, oh, those guys are scared. No, they were smart. They had more heart to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to go sell dope. Because there was other guys that we'd say, hey, you want? They're like, nah. Oh man, he's scared on. No, he had more stand up to say, no, man, I ain't gonna go with y'all. I'm gonna do what I want to do. You see, so So that's what I mean is when you see these videos, or you think that I can do certain stuff and you can't, or because I've been, no, actually you who haven't been in trouble, you had more sense than I did, because something in you said, no, I'm not going to go with the crowd. I'm not going to, because who's ever watching these videos, I know the Lord has called you to watch them in somewhere, shape or form or fashion. Some of y'all's gotten around somebody who knows something about the wildlife or doing something. And some of y'all even had an opportunity to do it. Some of y'all said, nah, I ain't gonna do it. See, that's a warrior. You are better than I was, because I couldn't turn it down. I didn't have enough in me to say, nah, you do your thing. I'm gonna do my, no, okay. I went with the crowd, see. So don't ever think that, oh, God can use him because of those situations he's been in, but I haven't been. No, you were actually more of a warrior to stand up and say, no, I'm not gonna go with the crowd. I'm not gonna get involved in these things that have no. You had sense. I didn't. You see, now that I have given my life to the Lord, he has given me his mind. Now I woke up, and now my mind is all right. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, is you're more powerful. You're more in Jesus than you think. You see, don't let the enemy keep telling you, oh man, you see this, and he's gonna bring, who's ever watching, I already know he used it maybe. But what I mean is, I know he's gonna throw any thought at you. Maybe you thought it was your own, or oh, this guy can do it because he's been in that trouble. No, you're a greater warrior than me. Because you had enough sense to say, no, I didn't. I went with the crowd. You see? And so as the Lord had told me, he brought up Gideon. Okay, you got to understand who Gideon is. He's in the book of Judges. What the Lord can do with anybody. And this is also you who, if you've been in trouble and you're watching, you too. God can use you too. It ain't no, because look who he's using now. So Gideon was a man that, like he said, it's in the book of Judges. The Lord, like I said earlier about him, God would call people up and he would raise up a man to lead the nation out of bondage. That's why I said he would take one man. Now, it was the praying people. He heard the cries of Israel, and they would say, Lord, we're under this bondage, because every night, but that's what I said, disobedience, what it brings bondage. And so that, not that God sent him, God would say, okay, you want to go do what you do, I'll stand my hand back. You don't want me. And another nation would come and get them in bondage. And it's just like what I said he did in the flesh then. It's us in the spirit today. When we were under bondage of, like I said, drugs or alcohol, you didn't realize bondage of pornography, whatever, all the bondage. I was under all these bondages. And so you're under a bondage too. When you didn't serve God, you're in a bondage, some shape, form, or fact. Even success can be a bondage. Like my friend told me, looks good, smell good, but inside you're dead. So whether somebody says, well, I wasn't doing what you're doing, if you don't serve Jesus, you're serving the devil. It is what it is. So you're under bondage. Whether, because like I said, success. People think I'm doing so good that I don't even need God. Success is a bondage. If you allow that success to be your God. Now, there's nothing wrong in success in Jesus, knowing Jesus is the reason why. The ultimate, there ain't nothing wrong with having, like I said, some of y'all are going to be millionaires running a business. Don't forget, Jesus is number one. Don't ever forget that. See, so nothing wrong with success. As long as you know who the success, certain meaning, who gave you the success, Jesus. See, so don't ever lose focus. But anyway, going back to what I was saying is, Gideon was a man that, the smallest in his tribe. This is why when God called him, and I'm gonna speak in our language. You read it, it's gonna say, but basically what he's saying, he goes, you valiant warrior, meaning, so when Gideon, at the time, and break it down, they were hiding, they were in bondage. The enemy would come and take their grain, take their crops, take everything they made. So basically he was hiding a little food so they wouldn't come take it. So in other words, when God came to look for him and found him, he was actually stealing, but stealing from himself. It was their own land. But anyway, the other people came and was their basically king now. So he was under there just hiding and stealing food, wheat. And God said, you valiant warrior. He's like, what? You see me what I'm doing? And that's when he kept saying, I'm the smallest of my tribe. You see, God sees in us what we don't see. And this is what he has me to tell you, look through God's eyes, see, because I don't know if I told you, but I said it, and I'm going to say it now. is I said, God, like I said, the enemy makes us look at ourselves as we're nothing, we're small. Finally, after I started reading and I saw this passage, I said, God, let me look at myself the way you see me. So now, yeah, I see myself as a warrior, as an elite, but through him, not on my own. I humble myself and know, Jesus, I'm all these things in you. Not because I put my pride away, I put all that stuff away. See, so you got to understand, the Lord doesn't look at us the way we see ourselves. God is looking in you. And not only that, he's looking at you 10 years down the line. Because like when he found Gideon was hiding and stealing wheat. So Gideon like, what do you mean you're calling me he rose Gideon up to lead the nation? So this man went from stealing wheat to the leader of the nation and used him to get him out of bondage. See, this is how our God can do things. You're called to do huge things, but the thing is, you have to believe it and receive it. Now, I know now. I say, God, there's no limit to my life now. I can see myself doing nationwide preachings. I see myself in other nations. I don't know where the Lord's going to take, but I know now I don't put no cap on him because it's who I serve, not who I am. You see, I know who I am in him, and I know what he can do with people after I keep reading his word. Like I said, the word is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. What he did with people then, he'll do it today. And I say, Lord, I'm just here to be used. I don't put no cap on the Lord. I said, Lord, as far as you take, I'm willing to go because I just want to glorify your name. Okay. So understand when he used Gideon, this man was, and he would, as you keep reading, he says, I'm the smallest of my tribe. I'm the smallest of because he goes through the tribes, and out of the 12 tribes, you know, it has the bigger tribes and it works its way down. And not only that, he goes, I'm the smallest. I'm from the smallest tribe and I'm the smallest from my family. In other words, he was saying how small he is. How in other words, how worthless. How can you use me? God says, I'm going to take you and I'm going to use you to lead this nation out of bondage. See, and that's what he's telling me to tell you. Don't quit thinking small about yourself. God's going to use you to lead nations out of bondage. You see, and so get out of your head that you think that, you know, I've been here and that's why the God can use me. And no, you're smarter than me because you didn't go along. And if you did go along, God's going to use you too. Okay. But this is what I'm trying to tell you is also this too. When I was in prison, I'm going to share a story real quick. There'd be like, you know, when we say, I'm going to go against the grain, you're going with the crowd. If you're running with the world, that's what it said. It says the road is wide to destruction and many people travel it thinking they're going against the grain. It said, but the road to heaven is narrow and few people find it. See, those are the ones going against the grain. And I'm going to show you. When I used to think I'm stand apart and I'm going against the grain, whether when I got saved and I was at this one prison, there's like 2,000 people on this one unit. And maybe 50 of us were like really, because a lot of people went to church, not the majority weren't serious. They just went thinking I'm in the church and God sees it and go back. But maybe 50 of us on this unit of 2,000 people were serious. I mean, wanted God, put things away. So 50. So look at that. It's 50 against 1,900, 1,950 people. So in other words, you got a unit, you got 50 guys going against 1,950 guys. See, and when I saw that, see, the Lord said, see, now you're going against the grain. Now you've become, you know, a radical supposedly. And see, that's when God woke me up and said, you have been running with the crowd the whole time thinking that I'm going against. No, now you're going against. Now you're few going against many, because we'd be out there talking about the Lord, and yeah, some people laughed at us. They said, yeah, I'm hiding behind it. You know, I said, now I see what the Lord is talking about. The whole time I thought I'm standing alone, I'm running with the crowd. Now I'm really. So like I said earlier in this video, next time, if your child says, I want to go against, grab a Bible. Grab a Bible. That's when you really, and that's what I said. I give honor to those kids who decide to serve the Lord as a kid or a young person. You know, there's some people who say, like, I was there and they want to shake my hand. No, I want to shake your hand. I congratulate you. Now, you did something I couldn't do. I didn't have enough spine to stand up for the Lord when I was a kid, but now I do. But what I would give to have done it when I was a kid or when I was younger, to be able to have that, to stand for the Lord. But this message is, listen, you're called as Gideon. Don't think just because I've been in situations that you haven't, or maybe you have, I don't know. But like I said, if you haven't been in them situations, because you had more sense than me. You see, you had more courage to say, nah, you know what? I ain't going to do those things. I'm going to, like I tell those people today, you know who the man is? For one, whoever accepts Jesus, number one. But not only that, now he's a man's man when you accept Jesus and then go to work, show your family Jesus. Now that's who I applaud. I said, because it took me prison. It took me kids I didn't raise. It took me, I left nothing but a destruction in the wake of where I went. See, the one who stayed as a man, took care of his business, went to work hard every day, who brought home a check, who we used to laugh, but you're the man, because when we were sitting in jail and other people were providing for us, you stayed that man, going to work every day, you know. And now if you're serving Jesus, you became even more, for one, Jesus first, and two, you kept grinding out, going to work, being the man, bringing a check home, taking care of your family. You're the man, not dummies like me who had to wind up in prison and wake up, okay? So, and I'm calling the old me a dummy, and I'm not calling anybody who's serving Christ. Now, the old man who is dead, because I don't call myself names, because Jesus already warned me and told me I'm talking about the old me. He was a dummy because he had no business doing those things, okay? And I'm not calling you, if you've been in jail or prison, a dummy. I'm talking about the old you before you got saved, okay? So understand you now, you're called. And like I said at the beginning, don't think it's because I've been in these situations. No, you were more of a man than me because you were able to stand and not get yourself in those situations. I wasn't. I got influence. I went with the crowd. Okay, so you're called as Gideon. You're more powerful than you think.